Hello and welcome to what I call a new video, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that how to ruin Deltarune is very simple, and Tobias Foxworth can do it in a jiffy. See, I have the utmost trust in Tobias Foxworth himself. Unfortunately speaking, there's a lot of ways it could be ruined. And also, before you comment on the fit not being hard today, it's actually incredibly hard because I am camouflaging the fact that I have never been to California. Nevertheless, ruining Deltarune is very simple. See, Deltarune is currently built on its mysteries. At least it is for me anyway, because there's a bunch of mysteries in the video game that we call Deltarune. It's a big boy thing, I think. Now, of course, mysteries like who the fuck is the knight, mysteries like what the fuck happened to Des, when mysteries like why is Asko divorced, and mysteries like who the fuck Gaster plastered my ass on a Tuesday. So I think the crux on how to ruin this goddamn game is by using the mysteries it has already provided us. But in addition to just ruining the mysteries, we should be adding more. See, we already have a bunch of shit to keep track of. How about we add some more? Maro! However, we add more, not just immediately in chapter 3 and 4, but we add more mystery in chapter 7. See, fun fact, there's gonna be 7 chapters, potentially 8, but there's probably gonna be 7 chapters. So, having an entire goddamn build-up to every single mystery, and then we add more shit in chapter 7 that we don't conclude. Now that's how you make me pissed. See, when it comes to Deltarune, there's a lot of mysteries, there's a lot of theories floating around, and see, at the end of the day, I don't think Chris can be the sole knight. If Chris is the sole knight, fair play, you know? I don't think that ruins Deltarune, that's just me being fucking wrong. However, you know, sometimes we look in a certain direction of the theories and go, maybe if that comes true, I'm actually gonna piss on the floor. See, there's this thing. A lot of people have been caught sniffing a little bit of it. This Asriel's dust. Okay, so the theory goes like this. Let me just recap. Let me just recap without sharing my opinion on any of it. Let me just tell you exactly what it is. So Ralsei needs to be an object for him to be a darkener. That much makes sense. We don't know the object because we've never seen the closet outside of it being a dark world. So the theory goes that the thing that Ralsei is Asriel's dust particles, because Asriel is actually dead. Now, why is Asriel's dust inside of a school closet? See, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the school closet. See, there's a fun fact about it. See, Ralsei, sorry, I anagrammed that shit in my brain. Ralsei is able to cross between dark worlds. Now, this could be because that's a pure dark fountain where he's from. However, this theory states that Chris has, like, pocket sand, but like Asriel's dust in their pocket at all times. And so when they went into the closet, Asriel's dust became a darkener. And when they went out of the closet and into the cyber world, they've realized, interesting. Ralsei is here because, dust in me pocket. Now, of course, for this theory to be correct, Asriel's gotta be dead? Which is like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, he is not. He simply isn't. He just is not dead. Guys, he's in college. Did the college just kind of forget that he's there? He's dead, apparently. Does Toriel never call her fucking son in college? Like, she has a phone. She uses the phone to call Chris. She takes a call from Chris as well. Does she not just call her other son ever? See, another thing that was, about this whole theory is that the PC that they communicate through, the Toriel and Asriel communicate through, is in Chris's room, meaning that Chris could potentially be forging emails. So fucking stupid. Fuck this. What I of course meant is a Gaster not there. Okay, honestly, at this point, the survey program was announced through Twitter.com, formerly known as Twitter.com, still known as Twitter.com. And it was announced by Gaster posting. Like Toby went into the Gaster, like into a bin of Gaster, grabbed a bunch of it out and dropped chapter 1. The garbage noise on the Spamton phone call was the same noise that is associated with the Gaster guy. Everything in this video game has been building up to Gaster being a ghostly, ghastly guy inside of the video game. And if he just fucking isn't, why? Why build up so much for no reason? I don't get it. So if you make Gaster, the man, the myth, the legende, just kinda not appear, sure, it doesn't necessarily ruin it, but it sure as fuck makes it worse. No night. So I read this theory about there actually being no specific night, and the night is actually just a thing in the dark world and not actually a person going around the light world, and the night is just is an object like every other, but has the same ability as Ralsei to hop between dark worlds, because that makes sense. It doesn't. It no. Like, I like my stories like I'm like my milk bread. Not loaded with 17,000 subdivisions for no reason. Like, sometimes all you need is like a nice plot, you know? And sometimes you just need a nice story. And you don't need 17,000 different things that complicate it for no reason. You know, I like to focus on the story. I like to focus on that. I don't, when there's 17,000 subdivisions of things you don't give a fuck about Five Nights at Freddy's, you don't really care about those. You know, you care about the main shit. And ultimately, the Knight being a person that we can, you know, figure out between, you know, all of the chapters before the Knight gets revealed. That's an interesting thing we can do. There being multiple Knights is still an interesting thing we can do, because you can theorize about there being multiple Knights. If you just have there no Knight, their Knight is an object. Fuck you for not noticing, you bitch. That's like, why? Why make it a mystery in the first place? It is a mystery, by the way. A lot of people like to say, oh, the Knight, that's not a mystery. See, the chapters were supposed to come out all at once. It wasn't supposed to be this long mystery. Motherfucker, we would have still played them in order. It would still be a mystery. Just because a mystery game releases in one swing doesn't mean it's not a mystery game. What? It's clearly a mystery in chapter 1 and in chapter 2. Like, what would this accomplish other than, haha, made you waste your time? That's not how storytelling works. Also, Dad, I punched Gaster, and now it says Gaster not there. You know what? Me too. Now you may be saying, kinda, you got like a weird thing with these theories. Cause like, why are you this mad about every single theory? And I gotta be honest here, you know, I don't actually care about most of these. You know, I have, you know, cultivated a tactic of not giving a shit. However, the way I cultivate it is by pushing all of the shits I give onto a single theory that I despise the most, and therefore hate beyond all compassion. Ralsei's dust. But, you know, the other ones I don't really care about. Sure, it makes the game actively worse, and it's terrible in a game design perspective and story design perspective, and a fucking disappointment. But ruin isn't the correct way to say it, you know? The ruin part is only when a story is so fucking terrible that it doesn't make sense within itself. And that would be Asriel's dust. Fuck you! Shittiest fucking theory of all time. God, imagine being so fucking stupid. Like, imagine being Toriel in this goddamn thing. Imagine your son's fucking dead. Why do you not know? Because your other son is walking around with his dust in the fucking thing. Like, did he go to college beforehand? Presumably. Like, if Asriel's dust is real, right, he must have gone to college before dying. Because you would say goodbye when someone goes to college, right? You would have to say bye-bye. You know, that's what sensible fucking people do. So, what I can only imagine happened is that Chris fucking walks right up to the fucking college, stabbed his fucking brother to death, collected the dust in the bucket, and went into a dark fountain to make Ralsei. That shit shit don't make no fucking sense. However, maybe he just came back, you know? Maybe the fucking college trip, he came back as a surprise for Toriel, and on the way home, he fucking collapsed on the floor like a motherfucker, dead motherfucker. And the school kind of forgot to send, like, a letter to, you know, console the parents, because they fucking forgot, I guess. There are some versions of this theory where Asriel also knows. Why isn't he telling his former wife? It's the dumbest shit of all time. It don't make no fucking sense, bro. How T-Ruin? We're getting the O back, man. We're getting the O back. Yeah. So I think my point's pretty clear. You ruin Deltarune by making a story decision that makes absolutely no fucking sense from any angle you look at it. It's like, oh, this is an interesting idea in the first second, and then when you think about it for 2 seconds, you know, it becomes an absolute asshole. You know that you don't like to have that in your story. You know. So as long as Deltarune doesn't do that, I feel like it will be an enjoyable experience that is worthwhile for all of us. I'm gonna go back to sniffing Asriel's dust now, because fucking hell, I hate Ralsei. So if I want to kill Ralsei, all I gotta do is sniff some dust, baby. Sniffing his dust till I snow, great on you, ba ba dee bee doo bee boop boop bee. Dust, Asriel, dust! I will burn this dust to the ground. You don't seem to understand. Dust isn't yours to sniff. I have hair in my mouth, and I'm realizing that this bit is being increasingly stupid. And probably increasingly hateful to the person who came up with the dust theory. I don't care though. You know, if I was playing for friends, you know, maximum friendship, I wouldn't do this. I would script these videos. If I was going for industry connections, I would be in more than 7 Discord servers, none of which have to do anything with Undertale. Of course, except for mine, which you can join right damn now. Yeah. You can also subscribe. It's the fun fact that you can do. You're like, if you're down there, clicking on the Discord link, you know, right next to it, right above it, like a little bit above it, you know, there's a subscribe button right there. I mean, I'm not one to suggest things, but you can click that shit. I guess I was also camouflaging the real hatred I have for Asriel's dust, which has now been revealed. So I think it's time to get rid of the camouflage, even though I am still kind of camouflaging the fact that I have never been to California, yet I own a California t-shirt. What does this even say? Fucking California, Langua Beach, Pacific Coast. Established 1994. Great. It's summer surfing. Summer surfing. My fit goes absolutely goddamn hot. Cue the clown.